Cal led Sakti through the ship's corridors until they came upon one room with the door open and several containers scattered around outside. Sakti peeked inside the open containers, but most of them were empty. A few of them had some guns, ammunition, and other miscellaneous equipment. She looked in the open door, but it was just a room with some empty shelves. Sakti, I thought you guys would be a lot better stocked as far as weapons go. There's barely anything for us to look over. Cal, the captain has sold off much of his equipment over the years. It is redundant to have a large stockpile of weapons when the ship's crew consists only of 3 individuals. Sakti, that makes sense. Cal, most of these arms are for use between this unit and Unit Ben. The captain makes little use of firearms. Sakti, he doesn't use any of these? Cal, negative. The captain, being a half-on and therefore part monster, deals with monsters most comfortably with his claws and occasionally his teeth. Sakti, I can't imagine teeth being more useful than a gun. Cal, half-on are quite physically capable. In most situations, their bodies are much more formidable than most firearms would be. If anything, firearms would be somewhat detrimental to his combat abilities, unless he faced a monster he had otherwise no way of reaching. Sakti, I had no idea. Sakti and Cal began to sort through the equipment and ensure everything was in working order. Cal, exercise caution when lifting certain firearms, Sakti. Some are intended for Dulce use only, and are therefore cumbersome for a human to maneuver. Sakti picked up a large and rather unwieldy rifle. She couldn't even raise it to look down the sights. Sakti, yeah, I figured. As far as Sakti could tell, everything seemed to be in excellent condition. There was little for her to do, but she went ahead and gave everything a thorough inspection regardless. She took apart, cleaned, and reassembled several different guns, and Cal did the same with other pieces of equipment. Cal, Sakti, you seem quite familiar with firearms. Do you use them often? Sakti, not too often, but probably more than most people. Why do you ask? Cal, are you perhaps an associate of the Ministry of Defense? Sakti, no. I did think about joining in the past, but ultimately decided that it wasn't for me. Cal, understood. This unit asked because if you had been familiar with the Ministry of Defense's operations, this unit would have taken it into consideration when facing any monsters that we may come across. The Ministry of Defense employs certain combat strategies when fighting monsters. They would be of no use to the uninitiated, though. As you are not affiliated, this unit will keep in mind you are a civilian and make use of basic combat strategies. Sakti, is there that big of a difference between civilian and non-civilian strategies? Cal, indeed. The Ministry of Defense prefers aggressive movement when it comes to their offensive operations. They are risky, but effective when utilized properly. For civilians, the most common strategy is to form a small defensive perimeter around key areas while protecting the most vulnerable members of the party. Sakti, that would probably be best, yeah. I don't know anything about these strategies. I just go shooting for fun sometimes. Cal, understood. If this unit may inquire, why do you have an interest in shooting? This information will help this unit build a profile of your combat readiness. Sakti, well, I picked it up from my dad. He's the one who taught me about firearms and stuff. Even after he and my mom moved off-world, I've always found shooting targets kind of relaxing. But I don't go that often. At least not anymore. I'm probably a bit rusty. Cal, noted. Did you receive your mechanical knowledge from your father as well, such as your interest in working on Dulce? Sakti, I guess you could say that. My dad loves mechanical stuff, so he taught me some of what he knows. Thinking back on it, maybe he didn't teach me all that much, and I just spent a lot of time watching him. He never taught me about Dulce, though. I'm just winging it as far as Ace is concerned. Cal, What is your father's occupation from which he acquired his knowledge? Sakti. He works for the Ministry of Labor now, but he served in the Ministry of Defense before that. When he worked for the Ministry of Defense, he did maintenance on tanks and other armored vehicles. After he moved to the Ministry of Labor, he took up restoring old automobiles as his hobby. When I was a kid, I wanted to be just like him, so I guess I've picked up some of his knowledge over the years. It has been pretty useful in my day-to-day life. I can't say all of my knowledge transfers directly into certain tasks, like dulce repairs, for example. Still, I'm grateful. Cal. You are making a commendable effort for someone with no prior knowledge of dulce operations. Sakti. It's funny. My dad told me I should study to become a dulce mechanic since it's an up-and-coming industry. He figured there would be a lot of job opportunities even on a planet like this. I guess I should have taken his advice. It probably would have come in handy in a situation like this. I never did pursue those studies though. I was too focused on other things. Cal. Is that still something you desire to do? Study dulce operations? Sakti. Well, I suppose so, considering I'm currently getting a crash course. I suppose you meant in an official capacity, though. I don't know. I'm dealing with a lot of personal stuff right now. I don't have time to go back to school, even if I wanted to. Cal. Perhaps you could seek work with one of the major dulce manufacturers. Someone with your skill level would have a high probability of acquiring certain entry-level positions. The major manufacturers are currently aggressively expanding their off-world operations. It could be a future opportunity for you to keep in mind. Sakti. Yeah, I suppose I'll keep that in mind. Sakti and Cal finished going through the equipment and returned the equipment to the nearby storage room. Cal. Sakti, are you sufficiently armed? Would you like to take any of these armaments? Sakti. I brought my own weapon. I have a shotgun. Oh, and I have a hatchet, but it's kinda old. I probably won't even end up using it. Cal. Noted. Batteries for shotguns are infamously low capacity. Did you bring enough spare ammunition? There are no batteries for shotguns among our stockpile, so if you run out, you will be without a ranged weapon. Sakti. I brought quite a few spare batteries. I would honestly be shocked if I ran out. I think I'll be okay, but let me think about it. Ask me again later. Cal. Affirmative. Regardless, this unit and Unit Ben shall carry a spare weapon and ammunition for you in the future, should you require them. Sakti. Thank you, I appreciate that. Cal. Sakti, may this unit advise you? Sakti. Sure, go ahead. Cal. The captain may excel in close quarters against monsters, but that does not apply to you. You, being a human, are considerably more fragile than both the captain and these units. All but the most docile of monsters put you at risk of serious bodily injury. It would be best if you maintained a safe distance when confronting monsters. Sakti. I am aware, yeah. I've gone camping with my dad before. He taught me a little bit about how to protect myself from some of the local monsters. He never took me out to sea, though, so he's never taught me about sea monsters. Cal. Most monsters on this planet are not exceptionally dangerous. That is to say, the monsters common to this planet are all susceptible to standard gunfire. 2 or 3 well-placed shots to the head should be sufficient to slay most monsters we should encounter. Sakti. Are there monsters not susceptible to being shot in the head? Cal. Affirmative. There are many monsters which are completely impervious to gunfire from common ordnance. They are extremely rare on a planet such as Frontier, though, which has a rather docile monster ecology. It is unlikely we should encounter any monsters of that sort. This unit has compiled information on a significant number of monsters native to the seas of Frontier, but it is all speculative. This unit has no definite insight into the functions of the Maelstrom, as there is little to no publicly available information about it. Sakti, true. I suppose you can only know as much as the government has made publicly available. If there were a dangerous monster in the maelstrom, and the government knew about it, I don't think they would be obligated to make that public, considering almost everyone already stays away. Cal, affirmative. The government has stated it has done very little research into the maelstrom because it is too dangerous for research vessels to approach safely. Therefore, most of what is known about the maelstrom is conjecture and urban legends. It is difficult to form a well-researched stratagem for such a place where the lines between fact and fiction are non-existent. Sakti, they say it is a never-ending storm that has been raging for over 100 years. Do you have any idea what could even cause such a phenomenon? Cal, unknown. This unit speculates it may be a magical anomaly, but that is not particularly insightful, as that is the common consensus. When we do arrive at our destination, please use these units to their full capacity. These units are merely tools, and if these units need to be sacrificed for you and the captain to survive, please do so. Sakti, I couldn't do that. Cal, Sakti, these units are just machines. With enough money and effort, it would be possible to completely reconstruct a unit nearly indiscernible from this unit from the ground up. That cannot be said about you, an organic being. You only have one life. It would be foolish for you to risk your personal safety to prolong the function of this unit. That is all to say, do not get overly attached to this unit, or any other dulce for that matter. That would not be healthy. Sakti, I'm not getting attached. I just want the best possible outcome. Cal, this unit shares that sentiment. This unit thanks you for your assistance, Sakti. This unit can handle the rest from here. Sakti, alright, I suppose I've taken long enough break from working on Ace anyway. I'm gonna go try and see if I can finish up by tonight. I'll be down in the cargo hold, if you need me. Sakti returned to the cargo hold, more determined than ever to fix Ace. Sakti, I'm not at a complete loss yet. I still have a few ideas left. By tonight, I'm either going to finish and fix Ace, or have done all I can with what knowledge I have. If I've gone at least that far, I won't feel as bad even if my repairs don't work. Several hours passed, and when evening fell, Sakti had made just about all the fixes she could make with what she had. Sakti, alright, all that's left to do is to connect these cables. That should jumpstart the core and power up Ace. Hopefully. Well, here goes nothing. Please don't explode. Sakti picked up the power cables and connected them to send power into Ace's core. The connection created a huge spark which caused her to drop them and jump away. Ace lurched upward. Nothing happened right away, but after a bit of waiting, a plume of smoke shot out from Ace's core and it slumped back over. Sakti let out a sigh and threw off her gloves. She propped Ace back up and disconnected all the cables. She gave it a pat on the head. Sakti, sorry Ace, but it looks like you'll just have to wait till we get back on land. I tried my best, but I'm out of ideas. It would have been nice to get you working, but I don't know what else to try, so you'll just have to stay down here for now. Sakti cleaned up the cargo hold and returned all the tools she borrowed to where she found them. Sakti, that dulce probably started on dinner. I should go check with them. Sakti left the cargo hold and went up to the mess hall. Sakti arrived in the mess hall, and the dulce appeared hard at work in the kitchen. Cal, Sakti, this unit was just about to go retrieve you. Dinner is almost ready. Why don't you take a seat? Sakti sat down at the only spot where the dulce had laid out utensils. She waited a few more minutes and then the dulce began to serve dinner. It appeared to be the same meal as yesterday, much to Sakti's dismay. Still, she ate it without voicing a complaint. Several minutes into dinner, Roland entered the mess hall. The Dulce seemed unsure of what to do about his sudden appearance. Cal. Captain, is there an issue? What can this unit do for you? Rollin. Oh, nothing. I'm just walking around the ship. Rollin meandered around the mess hall for a bit. His aimless presence made his intentions unknown. Sakti. Well, if you're not doing anything, why don't you sit down and have dinner? You haven't eaten anything yet, have you? Rollin. If that's okay with you. Sakti. Yeah, why wouldn't it be? Rollin shuffled over to the table and sat down. The Dulce scrambled to serve him and provide him with dining necessities. Rollin took a large, elaborate bottle from his coat and put it down on the table by his plate. Rollin. This is Ravan White River. Good stuff. Almost 800 years old. It was brewed by the people in my hometown. He motioned to the Dulce, who brought him a pair of goblets. He laid the cups out on the table. Rollin. This bottle is one of the things my father gave to me before I left home. I thought I'd finally open it up, considering I probably won't get an opportunity to drink it tomorrow. Sakti. That bottle is special, right? Why not save it until after we survive as a celebration? Rollin. If we survive. If we die, I'll have never even tasted the damn thing. No way I'll be able to rest in peace knowing that. Rollin pulled the cork off the bottle. He raised it to his nose and took a deep breath of the bottle's contents. He managed a faint smile. He poured himself a generous amount in one of the goblets. Rollin. You want some, kid? You're of age, right? Well, not that it matters. I'd still let you have some anyway. Sakti. I am of age, thank you very much. I don't drink, though. Rollin. I don't trust people who don't drink. Come on, have some. He extended the bottle and shook it. By the way he hovered the bottle over the other goblet, it was obvious he wasn't going to take no for an answer. Sakti. Fine, just a little. Rollin poured a splash into the other goblet and pushed it toward her. Rollin raised his goblet up. Rollin. To our quest. Let's hope at least one of us makes it back alive. Sakti. To our quest. I hope we all make it back alive. Sakti hesitated a bit before sampling the unknown drink, but eventually took her shot. It was far worse than she imagined it to be. Sakti. Ah! That's vile! It just burns. How can you even drink this stuff? Rollin. Really? I don't think it's all that bad. He poured himself more after he guzzled down the contents of his first glass in short order. Sakti had to pour herself some water in a futile attempt to wash the burning sensation out of her mouth. It took a bit for her to regain her composure after tasting the foul concoction. As Sakti recovered, Rollin continued to drink. He looked somewhat amused by her reaction, but didn't say anything about her displeasure. Rollin. So tell me about this friend of yours. They must be some incredible individual if you're doing all this to help them out. Sakti. Oh, yeah, Iskir's great. I've known him my whole life, basically. Rollin. You grew up together? Sakti. Well, not exactly. He's not a human, so he's been an adult for as long as I've known him, basically. He and my father worked together. That's how I came to know him. I guess you could say he's close with my family. Rollin. Iskir, huh? Why does that name sound familiar? Sakti. Well, he works alongside the government. He's even been on the news a few times. Maybe that's where you've seen him? Rollin. Nah, I don't follow the news or politics. That's probably something else. Well, I'm sure it'll come to me later. You live so long, it's hard to remember all the details. So, are you two dating or something? Sakti. No, it's not like that. We're just friends. Really. Rollin. Right. Well, he's lucky to have a friend like you. I don't think many people would go as far as you have to find whatever it is you're looking for. Sakti. Really? I think most people would go out of their way to help someone they care for. Rollin. I don't think so. Most people are inherently selfish. They treasure their own interests foremost, let the plights of others fall to the wayside, even if it means hurting the people they should care about the most. Sakti, you know, you're really negative. Rollin, it's a byproduct of getting old, I guess. They stayed silent for a while as Sakti ate her meal. Rollin seemed disinterested in eating any of the food in front of him and just continued to drink. When Sakti appeared to be pretty much done, Rollin spoke up. Rollin, by the way, how's your work on Ace going? Didn't you say you're going to try and finish by tonight? Sakti, yeah, but I think it's pretty fair to say I've done all I can do. I don't think I can get it to work. Sorry. Rollin, no worries. I appreciate the effort. It's not like your journey is over anyway. I'm sure you'll have plenty more opportunities to work on it. Sakti, yeah, I know. I would have liked to have it operational for when we reach the Maelstrom though, to help with monsters and stuff. Rollin, we'll be fine. I don't need another bucket of bolts to keep me safe. Say, how would you like to keep Ace? Sakti, you'll sell it to me? Rollin, nah, just take it. For free. It's just scrap taking up space on my ship. I have no need of it. Sakti, that's extremely generous of you. Even if it doesn't work, you could still get a good amount of money for its parts. I couldn't possibly. Rollin, I insist. I can't be bothered to drag that thing ashore and find someone to dump it onto. I'm sure anyone I try and sell it to will just rip me off anyway. Better someone like you have it who'll at least get some use out of it. Even if you can't get it to work, you can always just break it up for parts. Or just go ahead and sell it. It really doesn't matter to me. Sakti, well, thank you. I'll take good care of it, I promise. Anyway, thanks for dinner. I'm going to my room now. I'm probably going to turn in early tonight because I have a feeling tomorrow is going to be a very long day. You should consider turning in early too. Rollin, yeah. I'm just gonna have a few more drinks. I'll be in here for a while if you need anything. Sakti left the mess hall and returned to her room. Sakti, tomorrow we reach the Maelstrom. I can't help but feel anxious considering everything people have said about it. It's not like I'd turn back even if I could, but I doubt I'll rest easy with this fear welling up inside of me. I'll do a bit of reading to take my mind off of things, and then I'll go to sleep. Sakti did a little bit of reading and then went to sleep not much later. That night was much quieter than that which preceded it. So much so it was uncomfortable. The ship had sailed into a void of silence, where the automated defenses did not fire, and there were no wind, waves, or machines to be heard. Sakti found being alone with her thoughts and worries even less conducive to good sleep than any racket the ship could make. A sudden, loud, metallic bang startled her awake. Sakti, what was that? It sounded like metal on metal, and pretty close. Perhaps it was one of the Dulce working nearby. Sakti got out of bed and approached the door. Sakti cracked the door open and looked outside, but nobody was there. She stepped out into the hallway to have a look around. Sakti, whatever it was pretty loud. I suppose it could have come from one of the decks below. Sakti looked up and down the hallway, but again there was nobody to be seen. A glimmer of light on the floor, however, caught her eye. Sakti, what's this? She picked up a pistol from the floor. Sakti, this is Rollin's pistol. I can tell because he always has it on him, and it's pretty fancy looking. I wonder what it's doing here. Well, at any rate, this hitting the floor wasn't what I heard. The sound I heard was much too loud. Rollin probably came through here recently and accidentally dropped it. It's late, so I doubt he's still awake. I'll just give it to him tomorrow. Sakti returned back into her room, put the pistol on her desk, and returned to bed. That night, nothing else disturbed her rest. Sakti awoke the next morning quite well rested. She conducted her morning rituals, stopped by the mess hall for some food, and then went up to the deck.